Hello, YouTubers and content creators and everyone else. Hey, welcome back to my channel, Virginia Bushcrafter, the channel where we continue to learn and practice the skills of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival for the wilderness. So today, guys, also, hey, thank you guys for joining in with me. I definitely appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this time out in the wilderness just as much as I do. So guys, today, a very, very hot day. Not warm, but a hot day in Northern Virginia. But I am in the shade. And I am carrying just a little over, yes, I would say a small amount over 1 gallon of water, because I'm only hiking in maybe 150 yards. But today's objective is shelter. I intentionally did not bring a tarp with me. I do have a poncho, but I am going to be making a debris shelter, a lean-to debris shelter. I have made them before, but as always, again, it is about improving perfection. So I'm going to bring you guys along with me as I build a lean-to debris shelter. There's plenty of resources, dead wood, boughs, leaves, that's what I need. So let me go find a location, making sure there are no widowmakers. I'm not on a game trail. There's plenty of wood. I have water, and the weather is hot. All right, guys, let me go find us a nice location, and we're going to start our debris shelter. All right, guys, so I have found a pretty nice site, and what I have done to stay organized, I always hang my rucksack up. So I was questioning about this, and again, this is all about learning, but I want to show you and explain to you how and why I hang my rucksack as I do. I start off by putting a loop and using a toggle to hold it. And here you see a prusik knot that is made with number 36 bank line. As you can see, the 38 stick or large piece of a branch goes through the prusik knot or the prusik loop. And I take the straps, the shoulder straps on this side and this side, and I run it through with the branch. And then I just proceed to hang, take everything out of my rucksack that I'm anticipating on using. Again, this is food. Here's more water. Here's a fire kit that I'm sure I won't be using today. My first aid kit, my saw, and a kukri that I will be using today. And the rucksack is just hanging. So I'll do this again. I'll show it to you in more detail on the next or future video. But I just wanted to show you this is how I hang my rucksack. So I have found a location. I did saw a large branch, and this is going to be known as the spine. So let me get things in order, and then we're going to start. All right, guys, as you can see, this branch is going to be resting between this tree trunk here, which is sturdy, and this one. So what I'm going to do is just adjust it. So let's start doing that. All right, guys, the first thing that I'm going to do is actually put on my gloves. It doesn't matter how hot it is. Gloves are very important because you don't want to injure your hand. You don't want a small cut that you don't notice until a day or so later. This is going to help prevent, you from getting those cuts. Poison ivy, things of that nature. So my suggestion is always wear some type of hand protection, because this is the last thing, your hands and your feet is what you do not want to get injured. So I'm going to take this branch, push it up somewhat, push it against this tree. So it should be, yes, this is going to be perfect. Okay, so this is the beginning of a lean-to shelter. The next thing to do is now collect the ribs. So I'll take you out and show you exactly what I'm going to be collecting. Again, this is going to be a lean-to set at maybe a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to be gathering a lot of materials such as this. So I'm going to gather these. I'm going to gather a lot of them, and I'll bring you back. Hey guys, this is just some of the material that I will be using as the ribs, but I'm going to have to remove some of the, I'm going to have to delimb some of this. So let's start in that process and let me put you in focus. All right, guys, so again, I'm just going to start limbing some of this. I'm going to put my other glove on. Again, I already have the spine, and I'm getting ready to now somewhat process the ribs. I'm just going to be removing some of these ends, which will also make great kindling. And it's also good to leave like some of the edges here, and you'll see why later. Now this debris shelter, this is something that I'm not going to take down. Let's see, is this the one I want to split? Yes. Okay. So guys, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and get more of these and do the same thing. Again, what I'm preparing are the spine. It's a spine. All right, guys, let me get more material and we'll come back and finish this. The awesome kukri. All right, guys. All right, guys, this is what I have for starters, but I want to show you something else that I did. And I somewhat braced the spine with jute twine. Jute twine is a natural material. So I am able to use it. It's a natural material. Later, I'll bind it with vines or roots. But for right now, I'm going to use this natural material known as jute twine. So again, this is the material that I have delimbed so far. So to find out how much more I need, I'm going to have to go ahead and stack this. So let me put you in focus and we'll get started. All right, guys. Well, again, I'm putting on my gloves. Again, you always have to keep safety in mind. And again, there's never a need to rush when you are in the bush because you want to protect your hands and your feet, ankles. You just want to avoid any type of injury. So, here's the first piece. I'm going to have somewhat of an overhang. You just put them at not at a 90-degree angle, somewhat slanted. Smaller ones down here somewhere. So this is the gist to this. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to add a few more. I think the most time-consuming thing is actually finding your material. All right, guys, so this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of the material, and then we'll come back and take a look at our progress. All right, guys. I think that may be the completion of the spine and the ribs. The next thing is to get some Bowels or Greenery to go over the ribs, which will be followed by leaves. But right now, I am on a break. So, I am hydrating and eating a snack. Because I won't be making a fire today. When it's hot like this, the only time to make a fire is maybe an hour before dark and eat an hour before. Because when it's hot, you don't want to put hot food into your body, which will raise your temperature. Water and electrolytes. So that's what I'm doing on this short break. But yeah, this is going to be a permanent shelter. I am not going to take it down. It is all natural. So, next thing, guys, is go collect Bowels, and I'll bring you along on that task. Okay, guys, what you're looking at right now is another step of making a debris shelter, a lean-to debris shelter. What we're going to do is now collect Bowels. We're going to be collecting something off the lower portion, things of this nature. And we will be taking them from the lower portion of the tree. And we don't want to take them all from one tree. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with these. Okay, that's the greenery that I have harvested so far. And again, it was from the lower portion of trees. Harvest with a kukri by using the belly portion and a portion for carving when I wanted to not actually chop them but carve them off. So I'm going to show you more of that, but what I'm going to do right now is start putting the bowels onto the ribs. Now, by doing so, this will help keep out rain. It's going to provide you with shade. Most definitely a place to sleep. It's just part of bushcrafting. So what I'm going to do is start taking these, and let me put you in focus. See if you can see that. Okay. And we just start at the bottom, putting them upside down. This is somewhat time consuming, but it is learning and practicing in the bush. So that's how it's starting out. And again, this is a lean-to debris shelter. So that is the beginning of the bowel process. I'm going to go and collect more bowels, and we'll be back to attach them or install them to the lean-to debris shelter. Well, this looks like a fair amount of greenery that is on a tree that has fallen, so this is perfect. Piece out of a car. Not much there. Okay, I'm going to take this back over to the lean-to in progress. I'll see you over there. All right, guys, so this is more bowels that I'm going to throw onto the back of the lean-to. The object is to cover all the open spaces. The next task is going to be putting the leaves on here. Let's see if you can see exactly what I'm doing. Have to be careful because it is somewhat slippery out here. Since we did have rain yesterday, again, Mother Nature provides you with everything that you need. There's some that's needed. Okay, the next step will be to fill any open spots with the leaves. So I think I'm going to throw maybe one more layer of bowels on here, and then I'll start with the leaves. Okay guys, I have put the bowels onto the ribs. But this has been a lot of work, but it's been fun, and it's still a learning experience. As I mentioned, I have made debris shelters before, but this time I wanted to stick to a kukri and use a saw minimally. But here is the front. It is not complete, but this is the front of the lean-to debris shelter. And I want to show you the rear. This is the rear of the lean-to debris shelter. Now the next step is to cover this with leaves. But let's sit down in this very hot weather and talk about some things. Okay, so that's probably 2/3 of it. But guys, what I wanted to talk about is the use of a kukri. I have used a kukri many times to chop and split, slice, but as I go to more meetups and watch demonstrations of people like Blackie Thomas you learn more about the kukri, as well as learning from Alan Kay, the designer of this kukri. Now this kukri does not have a lanyard, and I was somewhat puzzled by that, but I can understand why it doesn't, because there is not a need for it. With this ring right here, just by gripping it and using a pinch grip, there's no need. And when you are cutting, you are actually slicing. This kukri will actually slice down. So this is why I say learn and practice. Again, I've used the kukri many times, chopping, splitting, but never in this fashion without a lanyard. But again, pinch grip, this works wonders. So what I'm going to do now, after I have more H2O and Gatorade, because it's a hot one here, I'm going to put the final touch on, and that is the leaves. So I also made me a rake or a broom. I don't want to bend over constantly using a shovel. So let's go and explore that as well. But this is a fantastic tool. I'll give you more demonstrations of it. But again, this is learning and practicing. And that is the progress thus far. So guys, what I'm doing, I'm going to sweep the bush floor. I'm going to sweep these leaves up onto the back, and I'll bring you back. But basically just taking a branch, wide branch, stick, make a wide branch, just basically so that's what I'm going to do. When I get close to the end, I'll bring you back. Hey, fun in the bush. You got to come out here and join me. It's fun in the bush. All right, guys. So I have gotten more of the bush floor that I'm going to throw on top of the shelter. So let me put you in focus. Okay, let's see. You're basically covering up all of the holes with the leaves. Anything that's visible, you want to cover it up. Okay, let's just take a look at it. This is from the rear. And it should not even be really noticeable. I can see on the side here I'm going to need more. And let's take a look from the front. That's from the inside. So from the inside, that is enough room for one person. Plenty of room, fully covered for one person. Debris shelter, a lean-to debris shelter. But I'm going to tighten it up somewhat, throw some more leaves on it, and it should be 100%. All right, guys. I think I'm going to do some interior work. Remove some of the leaves. That's going to go into a plastic bag. That will be my sleeping material. But guys, this is the fun part. When you're close to the end, I'm just going to touch it up and it will be complete. Lean-to debris shelter. Guys, this is the completed lean-to debris shelter. Let's take a closer look inside. And it was started with, again, the spine. And here is some natural jute twine. The spine is going through two trees. The spine goes to the end of this tree. On the spine or the ribs. These branches are known as the ribs. And on top of the ribs is the greenery, or the bowels. As you can see, the greenery on top of the rib. And on top of the ribs, on top of the bowels or the greenery, is more debris. It is leaves. This is a lean-to debris shelter. So guys, this has been a lot of fun today. This was my main objective because I had not made a debris shelter in quite some time. So this was my task for today. Out here in just Mother Nature. Lots of resources, pine needles. So guys, this, in a nutshell, is practicing in the bush. We learn things and we practice them and we improve upon them. I have done this, made this shelter, maybe the first time I made it took, it ended up being 3 Sundays because I continued to add material. This time, this was done, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours of work. And it was a lot of fun. Now, the only tools that I use is a saw, very minimum. I think I used it maybe 3 times to cut a large branch that was hung up in a tree. So I had to use this 3 times to actually get that branch down. The other tool that I used is, let me just get it. Is a kukri. Okay, so as I was saying, the other tool that I used is a kukri. Now, I've used kukris in the past, but each time we come out, we learn. What is unique about this kukri is that it does not have a lanyard hole, as all of my other kukris do have a lanyard hole. But the butt portion here, the flare out end, it's not letting this kukri come out of your hand. And when using the pinch grip, that's all you need. With good leather gloves, this kukri performs very well. But what I did learn, because I had not used it in the manner that I've used with other kukris, is that when you are chopping or slicing, I understand what they mean by now. You chop here and it just cuts. Just by hitting here. Sure, you can just chop there, but also when acquiring or harvesting greenery or bowels, just by, and the whole thing comes off. That is learning and practicing. And this kukri does come with a chatmak and a kata. I'm not sure, again, chatmak and a kata. One is for utility and one is for honing your blade. Because every time you use a cutting tool, you create burrs. But this, it's going to remove any burrs. by keeping your knife sharp, you won't have to sharpen it as much. This is just so sharp now and ready to go. Also, you can use this as a striker because this kukri does not have a 90-degree spine, but this does. This is your striker. This is your utility knife. That is very sharp. And they fit into the sheath. In this manner. And the kukri fits into the sheath. Now guys, one thing about reinserting your kukri, you always want to hold it in this manner, not this manner. Even though this wood is encased in leather, you don't ever want to take a chance of this blade coming out or cutting you or any malfunction. So when removing it, here, push, reinsert, there you have the entire set. But guys, this was a lot of fun today. It was some very good practice. I've done a lot of tarps. There are so many configurations with a tarp that it is endless. But also, it is good to know how to make a debris shelter. Whether it is a lean-to, an A-frame, or if it's just a pile of leaves and you get underneath or in those piles of leaves. Those are items or materials that Mother Nature provides you. Everything that requires you to sustain is in the bush. There's water. You can source water, filter it, purify it, boil it, aqua tablets, mini soya, the grill, so many, live straw. You can forage your food if necessary here. There's enough wood that you can keep a fire as long as you need a fire. This is all in Mother Nature. But today's task was the fun part. And that was making a lean-to debris shelter that I will be utilizing. It is very comfortable, I'm sure. There is plenty of room. I am totally covered here with a nice warm fire there, not too close because you have to be cognizant of the dry leaves. But this can be your shelter that's going to protect you from rain, sun, and harsh weather. Now next time, there will be a pile of leaves here, probably in plastic bags or more bowels, that I will be sleeping on. Or the bedroll may be on top of that, on top of the bags filled with debris. But guys, this is a fun task. A debris shelter. So guys, fun part today, I have no tarp. to fold up. But I'm gonna get my gear ready, pack up, and the Virginia bushcrafter is going to see you on its way out. Lane 2 debris shelter. Lane 2 debris shelter. All right, guys. Hey, it has been tremendously fun, although it's been, and it is, very, very hot. I have completed my task for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It is too hot to do any cooking, so I did not do that. The good thing about it is that I have no tarp to fold up today, because there is a Lane 2 debris shelter. So guys, again, I've completed my task. I've done my practice. Looking forward to the next weekend. And with that said, like father and son, mother and daughter, human in nature, we're all akin. Just get out in the bush and have some fun. This is the Virginia Bushcrafter signing off. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe, everyone.